Well, hello there everyone, it's nice to talk to you all again, and welcome to yet another of my expansion theory videos. I've been unusually quiet for the last few days, and that's because I've had a killer sore throat, and I was also scrambling to think of an idea for a new video. There's also been a lot of rain. Hopefully this doesn't happen often. Anyways, enough about my problems, let's go on with this video. Warning, this content does contain spoilers and possible spoilers. You have been warned. Alright, so in patch 7.3 there was data mined information of an armor set called Kul Tiras Quest Armor, which there are currently 3 different colors of. Most importantly are the maps placed around on the armor and the symbols that are very similar looking to tentacles. The maps on the armor themselves are of a continent we've not yet seen before, but more than likely it is Kul Tiras. The tentacles on the armor could mean a lot of things. It could be Old God related or something else. I believe, as many others do, that we will be traveling to Kul Tiras as one of the many new isles of the next expansion, as I doubt that Kul Tiras could support an entire zone for an entire expansion. What I want to do in this video though is talk about what I think will happen in Kul Tiras and the other zones, very similar to my old expansion theory videos, so it's kinda just fun talk. Now, before I talk about Kul Tiras and what I think might happen in the zone and other zones, I want to bring up what I think will be the pre-event set in motion either on 8.0 or right before it. Similar to the Legion invasions set on Azeroth, there will be countless stirrings of the Old Gods and their minions, such as the hungry maws popping up and out of the ground. Same ones we saw during the Cataclysm, but in more variety. Similar in ages past, we will face armies of faceless ones, Akir, and Twilight cultists around the shores of Azeroth, as well of course as Naga in notable areas like Orgrimmar's Shipyard and Stormwind's Harbor, and probably other areas as well. Heroes may die or fall to corruption. Hopefully no Horde leaders or any war chiefs this time. There'll probably be a cinematic to showcase just how much of a threat the Naga and the Old Gods and the Zoth are. So Kul Tiras was one of the many human kingdoms in Lordaeron. It was more of a naval fleet, and it was led by Dalen Proudmoore. Dalen Proudmoore and his Kul Tiras people would manage to survive the coming tide of the Scourge and the demons, but found that Lordaeron was not so lucky. He searched Kalimdor looking for Jaina and came across the orcs. Angered by what the orcs and the Horde did to his people and his family, he would go on an onslaught on the Horde, vowing to kill all of them. Dalen would not see reason that the Horde had changed, and despite countless times of Warchief Thrall and Rexxar, and even his own daughter, to stop him, he would refuse, and was ultimately slain by Rexxar. Back then, Jaina was all for peace, and in the end, she couldn't live in that same world that Dalen had for years, not then at least. Those that would survive would either stay in Theramore or return to their homeland of Kul Tiras. In vanilla World of Warcraft, the orcs would face against remnants of the Kul Tiras people, but they would be wiped out by the Horde and the Cataclysm. We have since not heard from Kul Tiras. The most we have heard are minor NPCs of them in Azuna, forced to fight for sea giants or lumber away by the Naga. However, with patch 7.3 and 8.0 and onward, this may no longer be the case, as stated before with the data mined information. In Kul Tiras, I imagine we'll be caught in the turmoil of the Naga and the return of N'Zoth, who, while we were gone on Argus, broke free from his prison under the Tomb of Sargeras. See my theory for more details. Jaina Proudmoore, who is absent from the Legion story, is doing her best to lead her people, whom she went to after being rejected by the Kirin Tor. Maybe she was trying to get their aid against the Horde or the demons, we're not really sure. She and her forces are fighting off the Naga and Old God forces, but when the Alliance and the Horde offer their support, the situation grows dire, as she outright refuses the aid of the Horde as she believes they'll just betray her again. But she comes to terms with the Alliance in helping her. For the Horde, you will quest with characters like Bane, Rokan, Rexxar, and or Nazgrel. I think it'd be a nice spin on things to reintroduce these characters, as they had a part to play in driving the forces of Kul Tiras from Durotar, and Rexxar, who ultimately had a hand in killing Jaina's father. It would be interesting for them to take on their past and maybe aid the Kul Tiras people from the Void and the Naga. They could also have Bane as a diplomat of the Horde, continuously trying to make peace with Jaina and her people. Either of these characters, in my eyes, would suffice well. They'll likely help out in their own shape or form. I'd love to see some interaction between Rexxar or Bane with Jaina again. For the Alliance, I think you will focus on the political unrest of Kul Tiras' people. One side is fully against having Jaina as their queen after she had betrayed them and her very own people to protect her alliance with the Horde. On the other side, there would be a group in support of Jaina being their queen. You'd likely tag along with Jaina and Kalik a lot, possibly with Anduin. I personally would think Anduin to be a better choice here in trying to convince Jaina that Bane and or Rexxar mean well in their efforts. We could also see a return to the Twilight's Hammer or something else posing as the Horde, attempting to sabotage what the Horde is trying to do in Kul Tiras. Jaina, of course, freaks out, while Anduin and Kalik investigate it. By the end of the quest chain, it would have the Old Gods take the capital of Kul Tiras, and it would be up to Bane/Rexxar and Jaina in saving it. We can encounter Jaina's mother or possible other relatives while also focusing on Rexxar's own relationship with the Horde and the Alliance again, or Bane's diplomacy at work. I think this would be a cool idea, at least to see such characters in action again. Both characters could use the spotlight. I understand many of you are going to say I just want Rexxar in this because he is my favorite character, and you're not wrong, but at the same time, Rexxar did have a hand in killing Kul Tiras' leader, so having him involved could be a nice spin on things. As to why Rexxar might be there, it could be that he has some past to negotiate with. After all, he did kill Dalen Proudmoore, but it was for the good of the Horde and good for the Orcish people. It was also good for Jaina at the time, but now things are a little bit different.
Times change.
He also could have been sent there by Sylvanas, or whoever is the current war chief at the time, since Blizzard likes to change things up a lot. And, you know, he does have experience in fighting Kul Tiras soldiers, so maybe that's why they would send him. Otherwise, there's also Bane, who is also a friend of Jaina, and he was one of the people that Jaina would support. When Bane was trying to look for aid, he went to Jaina as one of the friends of Thrall. And Jaina actually did give Bane some support, when Garrosh wouldn't at the time. Alternatively, the storyline could also focus on a corrupted Jaina. However, that's something I mostly wish to avoid. I'm terrible. If you want me to make a video on the corrupted Jaina questline, let me know in the comments. On the side note, I wanted to say that I really do not want a Sylvanas or Jaina to turn to, quote-unquote, the dark side. Especially for the Horde, since we've literally been losing leaders left and right in almost every expansion. And most of them were war chiefs, too. Like Vol'jin and Garrosh. Although, Garrosh was kind of deserving of it, but at the same time, still. Here are some other zones we could encounter. Zandalar, focusing on the story once again on the trolls and dealing with Prophet Zul, Hakar, and other Loa. Maybe even have the Vol'jin's legacy line that Blizzard keeps bringing up. Either it would have Vol'jin's spirit show up, or maybe some of his sons. There could also be the return of Kazan, that is under the rage of the elements and, well, lava. This could focus on the character of Gallywix and maybe Megatork and the Explorers League. Gallywix and the Bilgewater Cartel, who wish to retake their city back and industrialize it, while Megatork and the Explorers League both wish to study it and make it for the Alliance. It could have some kind of awesome cinematic between the two fighting in their mechs at the end. That'd be pretty cool.
So, you wanna fight? Good. We should have done this from the beginning.
Stop! Giant robots shouldn't fight!
Fight, fight, fight!
Another few zones I could see being a place where we may go is Plunder's Isle. An island filled with pirates and treasure. Maybe turn the focus back on the Blackwater Raiders with characters like Baron, Rivagaz? I don't know that guy's name, it's kind of hard. Bud from Vajir and Uldum and other zones you might remember him from. And Gazlo, who we've had as a engineer of sorts and a builder for Ogremar and our Horde garrison. He's also the leader of Ratchet. Probably have these guys in the zone. Maybe have a cursed human who took the treasure of an old god and resembles that of an octopus, and have his name as Davy Jones. I don't know. That idea is a little bit messy, but it sounds cool to me. The last few zones I could think of would be the Najatar city, raised up from the deeps. Kind of like an Atlantis in some huge water bubble, filled with the brim of Naga. It could also probably be a Suramar-like zone, focusing entirely on narrative, and it would be the last place we journey to before any patches come out. Since Ajara will likely be the main focus of the expansion, or at the very least one of the poster childs similar to Gul'dan and Illidan, should probably be a main focus in the zone. There are likely some other zones, but I cannot exactly think of any on the top of my head. Let me know if you guys want me to make videos expanding on these ideas that I've suggested, or anything else. These videos are really fun to make, and I love doing them. But those are just some of my thoughts on what the next expansion might bring. I'm really excited to see what the many Isles and Kul Tiras has to bring. Like always, I'm jumping on the gun here. We're not even on patch 7.3 yet, and here I am speculating on patch 8.0 and possibly onwards. I hope at the very least you guys liked my videos and my ideas and wish to hear more from me. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar har fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is a right to be. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate. We got us a map to lead us to a hidden box that's all locked up with locks and buried deep away. We'll dig up the box. We know it's full of precious booty. Bust open the locks, and then we'll say hooray!
Yar, har, fiddle-dee-dee. If you love to sail the sea, you are a pirate.
Weigh anchor! Yar har fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is all right with me. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are